This episode is brought to you by Netflix. This Monday night, witness the end of an era. John Cena takes center stage for his final appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. One last match, one unforgettable farewell. Come celebrate the legacy of a true WWE legend. Monday Night Raw, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, only on Netflix. Be there for the moment everyone will be talking about.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Welcome to Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasick. I'm Mo, and every week I'm asking today's most captivating artists how they got their acts together. This show is not about their best or most famous work. It's about the work that means the most to them, their creative process, and why they make their art. This week's guest is a writer, performer, filmmaker, and podcast host. You know her from her memoir, Obviously, Stories from My Timeline, her YouTube channel, It's Akilah, Obviously, and shows like Rebel Spirit and How Is This Better? Please welcome to the pod, Akilah Hughes. Ready, set, show!
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. I'm just excited to talk about creativity with you. So this is good.
I'm so excited because I think you and I are like of the same era of millennial where it's like so generative at the same time as so producerial. So it's so business, but then finding creativity within that. And it's like you are such an example of that of our generation where it's like, let's go. But also, where's my spirit singing? Like,
yes, exactly. Like I could do a lot of things. What if I did the thing that I actually really love and that is like the project, you know?
Ooh, okay. Perfect place to start. So like, yeah, what is that? Is this a pocket you've just found where it's finally everything coming together? Like, is that a cognitive process for you? Or are you realizing now, like, I'm working on a project that means a lot to me? And also, can you tell us about the project?
Yeah. So it's a few things. And the project is Rebel Spirit from Ninth Planet Audio and iHeart Radio. And I'll give you the sort of gist about what it's about and then I'll answer. But it's a podcast about me going back to my hometown in Florence, Kentucky, and trying to change my high school mascot, which is a Confederate general named Mr. Rebel, into something that everybody in the South loves, which is biscuits. And so it's a little bit absurd. It's a lot about history. It's a lot about like where the country is now and the sort of lies that people tell themselves to maintain tradition.
Mm-hmm.
It's very wide ranging and like fun. And I think that like, you know, I've been working in media for a decade now, maybe a little bit more. But I've always been like making stuff. And I think that of all the projects, and the reason I wanted to talk about it today is that like, it felt like the sort of perfect amalgam of my taste and like the right platform at the right time and sort of the right moment and just like themes that I felt like I was maybe really well equipped to handle and that I hadn't really seen other people handling in the same way.
I adore this. Yeah, we usually ask for a too long didn't read, and that's like a perfect example of it. That's perfect.
There it is.
It is. So thank you. But like, I'm always interested in sort of backlogging process when something resonates because, you know, when someone truly has an artist spirit, you're trying to find the medium that feels good. It's not necessarily, I want to be an actor. I want to be this. And so for you, as somebody who's capable of doing so many mediums, when this project came about, was it conscious of like, oh my God, this is everything I want? Or were you locked when you got doing it, the feeling where it's like, whoa, has all work led to this?
Yeah, I think that it was more of the latter. It was definitely the sort of thing where it could have fallen into a bunch of different media. It could have been a TV show. It could have been a short. It could have been a short story about it, or even just like a blog post. Like there were, I think, a million ways to sort of tackle the storytelling behind it. And I think that sometimes this is like it feels like a producer mindset versus a creative mindset,
Yeah.
but it actually, I think, is like creativity, is like the idea that like the audience does matter. And so deciding, I guess, like how to best serve the audience for the project. And so in terms of
Mm.
Rebel Spirit, it was a story that had a lot of different layers. And I knew that going into it. Like there's the layer of me being a high school student in Kentucky. There's the layer of me being who I am now. There's a layer of like sports and then like,
Mm.
history with like Brown v. Board of Education. There's so many levels.
Oh gosh,
um,
yeah.
and it became really apparent as I was sort of just like trying to map out what all I really wanted to say here, that
Mm.
like podcast audiences are locked in. They're actually expecting more than one episode. They're not trying an episode and then
Mm.
being like, I don't know, I don't get it. It's like, I know what it's about. I will give them space to cook, And so
I love that.
I felt like, with video sort of being so dominant now, there's always that
Mhm.
feeling of like, well, could this have been bigger or could it be bigger or is there space to like, show your face and do the thing? I also had to get out of the limiting mindset that like just because this project is like in this space, it doesn't mean it can't later, evolve into
Sure.
something different. But just for specifically Rebel Spirit, I was like, I want to be talking to an audience that is like down to listen. And I think that like with television, I'm like, yeah, I'm on my phone scrolling. I'm actually the opposite. I'm not really here to listen. I just want to see like a pretty
No.
picture when I look
I
up.
need you to escape me. Yeah. But I love how that is such a like egoless awareness of what, because I think there's so many times and places to be like, this will be successful. I'll make more money if I do this
Yes.
as a TV show, Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you're like, but this audience, which again is such a, and I know you have UCB training, it's such an improv mindset
Yeah.
to go like, who is going to actually play with this? I
Mhm.
don't want to just be the star. I want to throw with someone who can throw back or engage.
Yes.
And it's such a team sort of mindset with the work that you're doing because you're like, I want it to resonate, not
Yeah.
necessarily make the most money or do the most popular thing right now.
Totally.
which is hell as like artists.
I
to be
know
like,
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's
Right.
fine.
Right. I'm like, I would
But-
love for this to lead to like an A24 HBO show, but I also think there's like a level of reality that is like some stories are big and broad and like easy to sell, and other stories are like this is for the people like the girls that get it, and the girls who don't.
Well, and the people who want to take the time to like map the nuance and
Yes.
listen and just, and like, because I don't think they need to be mutually exclusive of success and nuance, but it is, there is like a reality that there is more difficulties in certain spaces. But I appreciate that of podcast listeners being portrayed like that from you because they're so now like ubiquitous, I guess.
Yeah.
It's I think that perception is a little skewed where we just think everyone has a podcast. It's like, well, no, podcast listeners are really devoted
Yeah.
and fanatical.
Mm-hmm. And I think they are like interested in what happens. And I think that like so many bits of media and like truly not to like shit on any other creatives, but it's like I think so many bits of media are designed to like sell something, make someone's career huge, whatever
Yep.
else. And I think that like it's kind of a real gift to be able to tell a story that like really matters to you and to
Yeah.
know that there is going to be a built-in audience of people that care about this because of where they're from, because it resonates in their own lifetime. And I think that like podcasts, I don't know. I like my experience in podcasts is pretty vast. Like I was sort of a
Yes.
prolific podcast guest before I ever hosted a podcast. Like you were saying, like being in improv in New York in like the 2010s, you just meet so many people, and I
Yep.
think that really like lent itself to people just being like, well, you can sort of think off the dome, and that's nice. And so I like was happy to get my feet wet in that way. And then when I started hosting podcasts, it was news. And so it's like you can only be so creative with news. Like I think that we had a fun show that was very much like it was What a Day at Crooked Media. And it was sort of like, well, we're not the Daily, so we're going to try to find a sliver of hope in like a dark time.
But you're also still in response to a media that already exists. You're still in
Yes.
relationship to it with that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's like this feels like a broader opportunity to tell a story. And it, to your point about cost, it's like or like making money, it's like, well, the cost is also so much lower. Like it, for what we did for 12 to 14 episodes, like, you can't make an episode of television that's that. And so, like, obviously it was going to be much harder to sell. And so I think that, like, there's more creativity in podcasts right now than anywhere else. And it's why television is now turning to that IP to, like, move forward because they're allowed to play.
Yeah, because you look at even like Dr. Death, I remember when it was like Connie Britton's, and you're like, whoa, and it's
I
like
know.
that quick.
Yeah, totally.
And I didn't even watch either, but it was like, it's that thing where it was like 1-to-1 all of a sudden very quickly because it was starting to be mined. But in that idea of like podcast audience, I do think it's of note that you have very much so built your audience over years with so many different medias. And like when you are pivoting to not being a voice for someone else, but working for other companies and using their audience as well and building yours, like, did it feel like a pressure to be like, okay, well, my news audience is this, so how do I get them to my story audience?
Yeah. Well, I think that you're absolutely right. Like especially when you're working with any sort of corporation or other thing, like they want to work with you because they like your story and they want to work with you because of your audience. And so like if your audience isn't interested in the next thing, it's like very daunting. I feel like of all the pressures that I just like put on myself, it's like, well, if the people who fuck with me don't fuck with this, then like, am I misreading who they are? Do they actually like me? Like it becomes a very personal like introspection, you know?
It's like such a fine line of like dancing that where you're like, I want you guys to like this. And if you don't, it's still my story, but also how do I make something that you do like?
Right. And I think that like what I have at least taken some solace in is that because like you said, like I've been working at this for a really long time. Like I think my first YouTube video was 2006. Like I was one of the earliest YouTube channels.
That's honestly amazing though.
Yeah. Like it was like like David at the Zoo or whatever the video is called. And then it was like me. Like I was there day one. I just happened to be on
David at her dentist?
Yeah, David at her dentist. It was me. I was also at the dentist.
You, Charlie, David at the dentist.
Yes, exactly.
Whole gang's here.
Yes, exactly. It was us, Chocolate Rain. But because of that, I think that like there are some people who are just like invested in like the story of my life versus like, well, this project is my project. And I've had to sort of like in my mind separate those people. Like, I will say like it was funny when I realized one day that like a lot of people didn't know I had a YouTube channel. Like maybe the majority of my audience, because they were like, well, I know you from What a Day. And I'm like, that's 10 years after. Like, and also, why do you think I do What a Day? Like, they didn't just pluck me from nowhere. But like, that's just the reality of the segmenting of the internet. And so it's like, I think that I had to realize that like, I'm not going to make everybody happy, but I think the stronger audience are the people that you pick up along the way who are like, I like, it's not just that I like this project. I like the way your mind works and I want to see you tackle different issues and topics and see how you would do this version of a thing. And so like, I think that helps. Like, not that I'm ever pandering, but I'm like, oh, well, once they're in on that, then I get to be myself.
Well, no, it's beautiful. It reminds me of every children's storybook because it's like Fievel. We like it when he goes west. We like it when he's here. We like Fievel. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
I'm rooting for Fievel.
And you are Fievel.
I'm a mouse that's singing out of a window.
You're in a meeting. You're like, what's my comp? Fievel?
Yeah. Have you guys ever rooted for a mouse?
Or like whatever, like Eloise. Like it's like we want to see her character. Like how would she react in the world? How in this circumstance, because that is actually so exciting and we don't have to convince you. It's just like, what would she say there? And but I do think like for you to take that risk to make a video in 2006 and also be yourself, but then it's inherently a performance. Like where is that internal? Is that like, I'm just going to make stuff. I want to be seen. Like that's meta.
I mean, wow. It's actually really fascinating to like, thinking about who I was at that time. I would say back then it was objectively like a fun new toy to play with. And then immediately I will say like, not that I was a genius. There's no world where that's true. But I will say that like there was at least an awareness in my mind of like where I was from and what was possible for me. And like I went to a small liberal arts school called Berea College in Kentucky, 2,000 kids. Literally no connection to anything in entertainment. But I immediately recognized because I was following people that I thought were so talented. And I'm like, they are going to make it. Like, this is the way. Like, if you don't have connections, if your daddy's nobody, like, if you can make a
Here's
portfolio
a
of good
portal.
work,
Yeah.
right? Like this is a cheat code almost. And so like
Yeah.
it wasn't so much like this will make me rich and famous, but it was like this is a way out of Kentucky for sure. And it ultimately was. Like
Yeah.
I ended up getting a scholarship at UCB, and like majorly I would say I was helped by the fact that like UCB was just starting their YouTube
Yeah.
channel, and they were like, you have 100 videos. You just do this for fun
Great.
to like an audience of no one. And I'm like, yeah, basically.
They're like, great, we'll do that for we don't know what's
exactly.
going on.
Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you seem to be onto something. We don't know if it's a successful thing, but you definitely are doing a thing.
It's also a prolific thing. It's not 100 videos at that time, even like, wow.
Right. And it was sort of like, I think when I look back objectively, I was like, you just have to keep going. It doesn't even matter. Like eventually something will hit. And I just believed that. But I also think the internet was so new and that kept happening for people where it was like, I know this person, they just started making videos and I don't know them personally, but like I recognize their face now. And then suddenly they're getting opportunity. And so it was like, well, it just feels like it's only a matter of time. But like
an equation.
Yeah. And I guess to your point, like on the creative side of it, like the performance side of it, there was just no blueprint, which I think was very freeing. Like,
yeah.
And like, I don't know, the audience necessarily for your podcast, but like for younger listeners, like just to paint a picture of what the internet was like back then, it was way more websites. Like you weren't just on an app. And there was like a grand fear, I think, of like people knowing who you are, you posting a picture with like a Solo cup and you'll never get employed. So it was like,
oh, ever.
If you like put yourself out there in any way, there was a huge risk. And so it was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. Like if I'm getting canceled in 2006, then I'm going to get canceled for like being the funniest person on YouTube.
We all love a legendary comeback, and Degree Original Cool Rush is back and better than ever. Cool Rush isn't just a scent, it's a movement, a fan favorite that delivers bold, fresh vibes and all-day sweat protection. Whether you have a man that spends hours in the gym, heads into the office early, or is just trying to stay fresh on a long day, Cool Rush has their back. Head to your local Walmart or Target and grab Degree Cool Rush, the fan favorite scent from the world's #1 antiperspirant brand.
It's so funny because it's like in that time was like, I was like, I should make videos, but I was like, but then I don't want pedophiles coming to my house.
Right.
It's like, that's what they would say to you. And you're
yes,
like,
exactly.
They can find your address and they're going to come get you. And I'm like, well, I'm actually 16, so I think I'm fine.
But like, right. Like it was literally that.
Yeah.
Like this fear. And I think like, also the internet was much smaller. So like the user base was smaller. So it's like, it's not like my mom also had the internet. It felt like it was just a bunch of like scary people and then young people.
But it was all playing like Inklink and like watching the 55 video. It's like, it was actually a very small number.
Yeah.
Because when you see the people now and be like, do you remember this? It's like, I was there at that party.
Yes.
And it was very small. So, but even to break through in that with an awareness of like what you wanted to do and a focus that is narrowed in is like, I know you don't want to be like, I'm a genius, I knew, but it is intuitive. So it is like very, a very savvy person at the very least.
Yeah, I would say that I was a majorly early adopter of the internet, and I think that has served me more in my career than anything else. Like I was on AIM when I was 8 years old, talking to like my third grade friends, and I was like on LiveJournal in high school, and I remember 100%. The day I got MySpace.com. Like I remember all of those things,
and like also coding it. Remember, you get like sparkles on your page. I made it. Did the right HTML.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would embed a song, and I'm like, this song is about me. My song was Ex-Girlfriend by No Doubt, even though I'd never had a boyfriend.
Really good. But you had to create a persona. Oh my God. The way you but also like the way you like put someone in your top 8 and move them a little bit to be. And
it was the end of the world. Like, and then like your best friend's like, well, who's that new person at the bottom of the 8? Like, I don't even know them.
It's a friend from another school. Whatever. You don't know them at all.
You don't even know them. Yes. It was so intense, but it was like, the way that people use the internet now is so based on how we started like figuring things out back then. And I think that there's no, I think today equivalent of that. Like the internet's just too ubiquitous, but like it was this Wild West. And I felt like not afraid to explore it. If that's the compliment I can give myself, is that I was like very willing to fail there. Cause I was like, oh, well, no one really cares. This isn't real.
But what I love that though, because I always talk about I like was always thought of myself not as like actor, but as athlete or comedian or anything. And so we talk about athletes' mindset on here. I think improvisers have that where you have to fuck up, mess up, and it actually has no ego. You need to because you want to get a goal.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, like, did you play sport? Like, what gave you that mindset of like, whatever, 100, I might mess up, but I'm gonna get better at free throws or whatever.
You know, these are great questions. I just want to say, like, I don't know exactly where it came from. I think part of it was like I had nothing to lose. And I graduated from college into the recession. Like I was 20 years old, I think, in 2010. And there was no, there were like, I worked at Disney and I couldn't get enough hours to pay my $300 a month share of the rent. Like it was that bad. And so it was sort of this thing where I'm
Disney,
like
the
at the park, in Orlando. And so I'm like,
that's a soldier. That's someone who knows.
Right. And I'm
boots
like,
on the ground. Yeah.
Yes. And like, you know, I had friends there who their dreams, like, I mean, I'm not looking down on them, but I think that like now that the internet is so big and entertainment is so vast, like you can be famous on TikTok and no one can know you on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. Like for them at the time, the biggest thing on earth would be like, if I could just get a job on the Disney cruise line and make $15,000 this year, but like everything's paid for there. So it's just like I'm pocketing 15 grand. And so you go to 1,000 auditions and you never get it, but you just know like eventually you'll get something. You just build that in. But I also like, I had a background in theater and it was sort of like, you know, were so many levels of being in the theater. You can be a star in a play. You can be a background player in a play. You can be just, you know, you can be the makeup artist. You can be the costumes. You can do stagehand work. And getting a sense of the fact that like doing it at all means you're doing it. Yeah. Takes the pressure off of like, well, this wasn't the biggest hit and I'm not so famous and I only have this many people watching. I'm like, but I posted something like you can go to a YouTube channel that is me. Like, so well, I won. Freeing, like I did it. Right.
Yeah. Because it's like, I didn't need to be the lead. I'll just keep doing it. And like, that is like a heavenly little sliver into just making and that mindset.
Well, I'm curious, what sport did you do? I actually don't know this about you.
I know it's so I like now, like, I realize the more I talk about it, like, because I never did, but I'm like, oh yeah, it was a big part of my life. But I played volleyball starting at 3.
Wow.
And then I know, and then I did the Junior Olympics, and then I played.
You were in the Junior Olympics.
I know.
What the hell? I'm leaving
and
the
then I played Division 1. I know, like literally, like we changed it. We just talk about sports. We're jocular
I'm
now.
like, let's just talk a little bit about sports because I actually think it's pretty sick. Oh, I do. I love sports. I love to watch. I'm not athletic, but I think to your point, this is why I love the Olympics. It's why I love watching athletes. Like I went to the marathon and just cheered because I'm like, you're watching people who have dedicated so much energy to a goal and like not everyone's finishing at the exact same time, but guess what? They finish it.
But also an ephemeral goal. Like it's a goal that like, yes, winning and losing, of course, but it's like, it's going to go away. It's not really there. It's just forever. Like the feeling they're trying to chase.
Yeah.
And it's very improv Zen garden of like, it's going to be gone after this.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even know what happened out there, but I did it.
And it feels like a little bit like with your videos where you're like, I'm not chasing the accolades from a video. I want it because it'll let me keep getting the feeling I got when I made the video.
Yes. I tell people all the time, like, I think my process objectively is like, I hate it. I like my idea, but I hate making it. I'm like, it's drudgery.
Dish on all this. Yes.
I'm so negative. The day of the shoot, I'm like, I look bad. I sound bad. No one's going to even care. This is so stupid. And people are like, I'll be texting my friends. They're like, Akilah, you always do this. Like you act like you hate your job. And the truth is, I think my process has to be that because then once I get to the point where I'm like sitting down with footage and editing it, I'm blown away. Like I have to believe it is terrible and like not good and a waste of time because then like I have no shame or embarrassment in saying like once it is done and I've not even hit publish, but like I've exported it. It's still uploading, but I've exported it from Adobe Premiere. I'm sitting there watching it back and I'm floored that I a girl from Nowheresville was able to make this
Yeah.
thing. And like, it's how I feel about every project I make. Even, I make a weekly show called How Is This Better? And I do these interviews, and I love an interview day. I do not love the day that I have to sit down with the prompter and read all of the sort of in between. And I'm very negative, and I feel bad for my team because they're like, Akilah is texting me about how she doesn't feel like she looks good or whatever crap I'm saying. And then I watch it back in full on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, we did it. Like, we have an editor, we have like people making it look good. But I think that I am the kind of person who likes to look back. I'm nostalgic for the process once I'm out of it. But when I'm in it, I'm like, I think it's hard. I think it's like, and that's how I feel about literally every project I've ever made.
Is that like the drug that keeps you coming back, is knowing you'll look back, or you just push through and then you get the drug again at the end?
I think it's that. I think it's the latter. Yeah. It's like, I forget. I completely forget that I've ever made anything good. Like, there's a reason that I get to do these things. And then I see it back and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, the writing is here. The performance is here. Like, the people we're talking to are sharp. It's an interesting perspective that other people are now latching onto. Like, there's so many moments like that. And it's not even that I'm like, my work is like so sick, but I do feel that way. Like, I'm like, I love to sit back and be like, this is a cohesive vision. And I guess, like, just to get back to Rebel Spirit, like, it was very much that. And more so for that project than any other project in terms of creative process. We didn't know how it was going to end. Like, the real central hunt in the series is like, I have a famous alum from my high school who was an athlete. He was like Mr. Kentucky. He was the MVP. He took the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. And like, he went to this school with a racist mascot, even though he's like the blackface on every page of the yearbook when he goes to school there. And so the whole time our white whale is like, we got to chase him down and get him to say something about this. And ultimately, like,
you know how impactful.
Yes, like, it's the only voice they care about that is darker than paper bag in my hometown. And so I'm like, let's find him. And not knowing meant that, like, every interview we did, they weren't all about him, but every single piece of this puzzle we were putting together was sort of undefined and floating in the ether. And then we had to make episodes out of it. And I think that, like, that made it a lot more freeing, because it wasn't like, well, I have an idea in my head and I'm not living up to it. It was like, these are random puzzle pieces, and in the end, there will be a picture.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Hey there, it's Dr. Sanjay Gupta with some exciting news to share. CNN is now streaming. That means you can read, watch, and stream everything in one subscription. You can watch news live 24/7. You can also explore catch-up videos and explainer videos, and you can also watch the library of CNN's originals, including my latest documentary, It Doesn't Have to Hurt. Just go to cnn.com/all-access.
Yeah, and like what I'm hearing, because I resonate deeply with the like kicking and screaming, because part of me thinks of it is why like I did stand up, but I hated it because I was like, I already had this idea. I'm pretending like I have it again. Yeah. Like, yes. And I'm done with it. I'm bored.
Same. Yeah. I'm like, I have to keep talking about it.
I know. And then people are like, well, you deepen it.
And I got the joke one night. I got to keep getting that joke.
What? And, like,
it's a stale joke.
I don't think it's funny anymore.
Yeah. Same.
And so, and it's also like, it's interesting because it sounds like when you are the central figure, right? Like when you are the center, you're like, oh, do I have to care about my hair? Do I have to, like, I'm supposed to, and I don't even know what metric to care about how I look by. Like,
it's just my thing. Yeah.
Yes. But then when you get to go back to the teamwork at the end, you're like, look what we made. Literally. It's not you at the center, right?
Yes. 100%.
And so I'm curious into Rebel Spirit of that, like, because it is a personal story. And so like, was focusing on this person helping you step outside of that to make the team again? Or was that a vulnerability you had to face of like, I'm going to have to say the parts of me that affect, like, because it's like, well, people are like, you're so vulnerable, and it's something maybe you don't really care about, you can say. You're like, I can talk about that stuff.
Literally. I relate to that where I'm like,
It feels like that's what's going on here. Yeah.
Because I also think like this is about me. It's a little bit about me in high school. It's a lot about how, going back to my hometown where like they frankly don't like me. Like I'm like sort of enemy number one and they're like, you're a troublemaker.
How'd
You're
that
not
come
even
about?
from here. Like, and I'm from there, but I don't live there now. So they're like, you just
Which is
want
also
to.
just awful.
Right. And it's like very emblematic of, I think, just the time we live in where it's like people are trying to define who can tell a story and who stories belong to. And if people are even allowed to comment, if like, they're not seen as part of the in group, which I think is just a defense mechanism. That's maybe giving them a little bit too much credit. But to that point, like, I think because I was on YouTube so long, and I still am, like, I think that it has given me sort of an armor that like nothing feels vulnerable if it's about me. Where I'm like, oh, there's a group of people on this planet who are sent here to hate anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's just like their reason, like, their raison d'etre.
You guys good? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, just making sure you guys saw this so you could hate it.
Yeah.
And food. Right.
Eat up.
And so like without a fear of being hated, because I know I'm not being hated because of the work. Like actually what is really, I think, another just piece of this whole story is like, I wanted to tell a story that was, I'm from a very small place, like Florence, Kentucky, maybe has 12,000 people or something. Like it's not huge. It's a suburb of Cincinnati. When people think of Kentucky, which people don't, like they think of Lexington or Louisville.
I also think of Cincinnati, not in Kentucky.
100%. Like most people are like, that's anywhere near there. Like, isn't Kentucky the South? And I'm like, yeah, it's the North is South. But nobody, like, it's just not a place that I think has even self-esteem about itself because it's like, it's a place you leave.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I think what was sort of armor for that, any sort of vulnerability, was the fact that I'm like, no one would take the time to tell a story about this place to the degree, with the care, with the like production value, with the kind of team, like going back multiple times to talk to these people and make them real characters in a story. Like,
yeah,
the fact that I care that much, may be lost on them, but it wasn't lost on like the audience of people who weren't from there, who were like, I'm going to think of a water tower, which is like the main thing. If you're listening, like we have a water tower that says Florence, y'all. That's huge, facing the highway. But they're like, anytime I see the word Florence now, I think Florence, y'all. And I think of your baseball team, the Florence Y'alls. And I think about all of this, like you've made this small place into like a real place. And so, I think that like more than anything, I felt like, if I'm doing that, then like, what is the vulnerability? Because like, I cared. At least I cared.
Say that though, because it's like people can say you're not, but it's like you can only really be hurt by the things you actually care about.
Yeah.
And it's also so vulnerable to go and be like, hey, this is bad. I want to hold you accountable. I only hold people I love, like truly, like, and let's talk, we don't mean societally because we should hold all people accountable, but like in relationship. But
yes,
it's like that effort.
And I would say like, even beyond holding them accountable, presenting them with an opportunity to do something better instead of
100%.
Just doing the damning thing without even talking to them, being like, you all are this and that's why you have this and that's why no one should go there. It's like, you all have a community of people who are desperate to feel included, and all you'd have to do in this era where you're too afraid to even bring out this like Confederate general mascot is get a new mascot. And the school's about to turn 70, like no brainer. And I will pay for it. I personally will find the money to like help you rebrand. And like what that also set up within the podcast was like, well, it's a person who cares. And also like, I'm giving you an opportunity to look good here. And if you don't take it,
well, it looks even 10 times worse, because I think what you offer them as well is when we're talking about an amalgamation of all your talents, like you offered them a laugh at themselves, even with like biscuits. Like it's like, which talks about the farcical nature, if it wasn't violent, of having a Confederate general. You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Right.
What?
Right.
And so you're offering them like almost that kindness and grace to go, how crazy is all this? Instead of F you, this is awful, this is violent, right? And so like, it's your skills of being able to show someone with comedy, it's, give them sugar with the pills. And it's all these things that you're offering quite generously. And it's from the heart though, because it's like making a joke to make someone feel better, saying sorry or whatever it is.
Totally.
And like, was that a conscious thing or is that just something you're good at as like a talent in your life because you're funny?
I mean, thank you. I think that there's a little bit of both. I think that part of it too was making fun of myself. Like like I said, I'm not an athlete, and like one of my favorite interviews in the first episode of the podcast is talking to like a freshman at the high school who plays basketball, and he's like, "I hate it. It's a terrible mascot." And then I like present the biscuits, and he's like, "I don't want to be called that." Like, you know, where it's like, oh,
he's
well,
like,
I'm
wait,
obviously
this
that. Yeah, like he's like that. We could get a new mascot that's not that, and I'm like,
That's so funny.
Like, you know, like I can be the fool, you can be the fool. This whole situation's so silly. It's a mascot at the end of the day, but like, wouldn't you rather have an overwhelming majority of people have pride in it than just like the limited people who can't let it go? And I think that all of my projects have a level of, you know, like just self-effacing humor. Like with How Is This Better, which is the weekly like sort of topic of the week, I'm analyzing policy and proposals in our culture, and I'm asking the question, how is it better? And there's a level of like, Akilah's very negative because no matter what I choose, the answer, like the spoiler is every episode we're like, it's not better.
No.
Like,
it's
so
like Kenny dies at the end. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I just was explaining why it sucks. Like,
yeah.
And so I think that's it.
This
like,
mechanism for me saying that shocked you? Okay.
Exactly. Like, guys, the cat's out. And so I think that like there's just I like humor that is willing to, you know, like I like when people are funny in a way that lets them be the butt of the joke. I think that like it's also disarming, like to your point. Like I think people, especially anytime you're tackling a serious topic where people are affected by it and, you know, people have a strong tie to it, like they're not going to listen to you if you're not a little bit funny or a little bit like helping them find an emotion about it beyond rage. And so I think that like that's my sweet spot, and I've sort of like accepted it. And I say accepted it because I think it also like it does not help me get acting work. I think that like, you know, they want someone that can disappear into it, and people are like, we kind of know what we're getting with it.
Really? Oh my God. Can I tell you, it took me so long to realize that in acting, because I was like, but then I didn't know how to describe it, where I kind of like, I know I'd stick out like a sore thumb in like the Gilded Age. I'm like, I don't know how to describe.
Like,
I'm anachronistic by existing. Yeah.
Right. Like I might just have to host things and be funny as an individual.
Yeah.
Darn.
Even if we're not trying, you can tell who we are. Just you can sniff it. They're just standing there.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, she's something
here.
You're
like, I'd love to disappear into a character with the prosthetic like a Nicole, but
not quite. Not quite.
But it's the gift, because also then like you can just not by the means in which we are currently, you know, using actors and needing that space.
Yeah. And I think just like within that, I think something that has been sort of freeing, because I think that like people think they're supposed to be like put in a box, but like maybe, you know, like if the grass isn't always greener, like a lot of actors are trying to pivot, because being online and being a person who like makes stuff every day and is out there in that way, like somehow translates now into money or like opportunity, right? Like I'm not the first person to say that like now people are looking at your Instagram followers to decide if they want to put you in a show or a TV or, you know, in a movie. And a lot of those people struggle with it because they don't know how to be earnest on the internet. Like they can't be themselves in public. And so I think that like, okay, maybe I don't get to be on a TV show. Maybe they don't get to have a hit podcast. Maybe we're all doing what we're good at.
Maybe I'm just alone in a cave and Plato was right.
Yes, exactly. Maybe there are shadows on the wall and it is people.
And they're all making money behind me.
Yes. Why are they just making it rain? Why is that real? That's my philosophy.
But we're happy.
Yeah, we're super happy, and we're happy for them. And that's
blood comes out of our eyes.
Yeah.
We're like, we're happy.
And I love it. I love that system. And I think it's good. I think
it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I think everybody's getting what they deserve.
No problem. It's actually really equitable. But because it's also like, it's not final. Like your career's still going, and it is like, you can't pay for sort of authenticity within. And I don't mean even out, like just having it within yourself and knowing that and who you are is so invaluable. And How Is This Better feels so on theme with this like anger I have right now with the dance between brand and identity and this and back and forth, because it's I wrote about it a little while ago, and my friend Sudi and I were like riffing on so many bits, but it's like these people who say what they are, but it's then later you find out and you go, well, that's something like, so it'd be like a guy that'd be like, me and my friends love to camp. And then a few weeks later, you're like, you meant Burning Man?
Yes.
What? Because it's like, but I believed your perception, it's something that says it's something. It says it's like a tech bro that says we're helping, but it's how are you helping?
Exactly.
You're
Let's go ahead and look
so
at it.
much.
Right.
Yes. And it's like, let's ask a couple more questions because it feels like these body snatchers who go right next to the idea of a good thing.
Yeah.
And then co-opt that and then dupe everyone. But then it feels like you're sitting there going like, the emperor's naked. And anyone else want to clock this?
Exactly. And I think that like something I learned doing daily news is that like, it's so easy to report on what people say. So like, you know, all of the tech bros can be like, AI is important and good, and it is actually going to revolutionize. And then it's like you peel back one layer and I'm like, oh, people are going crazy. People are
and you finish that sentence. It revolutionized for what? For lots of money for me.
Yes, exactly. It revolutionized my bunker.
My bank account, yeah. Baby.
Exactly. Literally. So it's like, yeah, it is just like, you know, let's ask a follow-up. Let's just talk to one other person who used it after you said it was good. And it's just like, right, that person killed their mom and is now in jail. Like,
yeah, no problem. Yeah.
That's an outlier. That happens sometimes.
And then it's also like, wait, you're so negative.
Yeah. Like why, it's the future and it's inevitable and we all just need to get on board.
There's this, do you know Robert Mitchell or David Mitchell and Robert Webb?
Yeah.
I love one of their old sketch shows, that Mitchell and Webb look, where like they always used to do like World War II stuff. And this like general walks in and Robert Webb's character is like, oh, I've just completed the death ray. It is going to be incredible for, you know, expanding. And then the people are like, yeah, we're going to use it to kill people. What? No, you can't use it to kill people. Like,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. It's a death. Yeah, that's going to be. But the branding around it was like, the death ray will just expand particles quickly. Of course.
Yeah. Right. And then what does that lead to?
Yeah.
Literally.
It's so simple. But even, I mean, to the themes, right? Even to the one that's like speaking to you right now, Rebel Spirit, it's like, it's asking one more question. It's going, who's this guy?
Yeah.
It's going, why aren't you guys bringing it out? Oh, you're shamed. Why are you shamed?
Exactly.
It's asking to follow the logical next question that's not being said.
Yes. And like asking, I think, the annoying kid question of like, but why? But why? But why? And I think that like podcasts are just a great place to keep digging. Like one of my favorite episodes is about the myth of Mr. Rebel, which is just this lie that he's based on Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean. But like you look at it, I'm like, it's got gray hair and a musket, and it used to carry a Confederate flag.
That's heaven that somebody was like, we can spin this, right?
Yes.
There's the same word.
And that's like, it is the company line. Everyone's like, and that is why, because the kids liked Rebel Without a Cause. And then one trip to the library and it's like, yeah, Rebel Without a Cause came out after they were the rebels. I went back to the newspaper and they were the rebels a year before they finished filming the movie. Someone else. And
then they go,
they're like, well, there were other rebels. And I'm like, but that's not what you said.
God.
So why?
Oh my God.
But you know what else happened was Brown versus Board of Education. And so the same year. So I just feel like.
And here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just doing a little bit of math and they're just sort of backing themselves in a corner. But it's like giving an endless amount of opportunity to just like, you know, drop the mask and have them be like, okay, it was racist and it was always racist and it was meant to keep black people out of here. And we did that and now you caught us. Like, we need to get to the end of Scooby-Doo. But let's
take the mask off.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm a meddling kid and I found you. Like, you can't keep pretending it's something else.
But it's so funny because like even that in that visual, it's like at the end where like you're starting to take the mask off and they're like aggressively keeping it pulled. They're like, no,
they're just like,
it's not a mask.
Yes, and then like they take it off and it's their face, but then they put another mask on while we're getting the handcuffs. And I'm like,
it's literally it's like a drunk person where it's like, hey, bud.
Yeah, we already got you, and they're like, no, please,
you can't see me right now.
Right, you're literally in the back of the cop car. You lost.
No,
you have to just take this L.
Hey, what's that over there?
Totally. And it's wild that I'm dealing with like grown ass adults who are acting like little kids in that way. But it's also like why it makes it entertaining.
But it's also why like you make it entertaining, right? Because otherwise, I think if you don't have that gesture quality you're saying of like making yourself the center, it is such a gaslight and like evil that someone's willing to like show that fact and go, it's still Rebel Without a Cause. We actually predicted that. We actually had a Hollywood executive stop by early.
Exactly.
And
but what about this?
like, yeah. But what about when James Dean was actually driving through? He stopped here. So, and he told somebody there about it. So we decided to do that. It's like, no, it's all direct, crazy lies.
Like for 70 years, you guys have been lying about this. So what tradition are we upholding? They're like,
but literally, oh my God. It's like, again, like if you don't say it in a funny way, it is like so maddening because you go, why are you lying? Like, here's all these facts. It's so spooky.
Yeah.
Like,
and right. Like, do you still think you're getting away with it? Like at this point, like, guys. And I mean, you know, like what it led to in real life was like, there was an election. It was 2024. We all remember how that went. But in my hometown, there were school board elections and there was a mayor election, and it became a central question. Like, would you be willing to change this mascot? And the people who said yes did get elected.
But it's so beautiful to see like the impact of your storytelling because it is. And if anyone doesn't want to one-to-one that, like it's like, hello.
Right.
It's one of those things too where you're like,
yeah, like you guys weren't having the conversation and you were running from the conversation the whole time we had the conversation. So I think I can take that. I'm going to take that.
You take it though, literally, because they're like truly running out there like, oh, good job on the mic.
Yes.
But it is that constant, like you're never actually going to get the external validation of it. It's internal of like, okay, what's my end goal? How am I going to get there? And on the way, am I going to get stopped by people telling me the sky is not blue?
Yeah, right. Right. And like, how much do you let that affect you? And at first I was like, I mean, so angry. There were so many interviews I was doing where I was like, you can hear it in my voice. I'm like, I'm about to cuss this person out. And then I was like, no, like this is actually the fun of this is like, it's the journalistic fun of it, I guess, where it's like you're giving them a line.
Was that like a point at which you made that shift, or was that just how you naturally soothed when that was happening?
I think that like, oh, you mean like the anger or the like, oh.
Yeah, when the anger, then you're like, no, let's just like use the journalistic fun in this when you were getting so edgy.
It honestly didn't really click until I was listening back and we were forming the episodes around it, because I'm like, it actually is good that I'm so serious in these interviews because like I have the space to like listen back. Like they don't have the recording. And I'm like, it's actually really funny that like my breaking point is someone just being like, you know, the school doesn't care about this. And I'm like, but why? So you're telling me they don't care about diversity on the record right now?
Literally. And like they're
like,
thinking, and like what's crazy is like they're saying it as a like, get out of here. It's like, you're agreeing with me.
Yes.
And
yes. And then at the end of the recording, they're like, well, none of that can be on the record. I'm like, but you know what is my half of the conversation. And so now I get to just give you all of the context. Like
the tea.
Right. So it's just like, there's just so many, I don't know. I think for that project, it was just like the most fluid and the most space to figure out what it was as I was doing it. Like, I think I am not a person who is like a daily maker. I make stuff all day, every day, but it's not, like, I would love the time and space to make a project. Like that is, I think that like art takes the time it takes. I don't think that you can make something. Yeah. I think maybe some people are like the kind of people who can make something great every day. That's like a discipline I don't have. My brain has to wander. I have to like discover something.
Well, organic inspiration.
Yeah. And like I have to also like sit with what I've made before I put it out, because like I'm not a first draft is fine person. And I'm happy for those people. And I also think that like, you know, something I learned along the way was that like a lot of people see like, well, I forget, it was like an ex-boyfriend who said this, so I don't want to give him any credit, but he was like,
it wasn't an ex-boyfriend. It was a person on the bus stop.
Yeah, so it was a man yelling outside
in a waiting room. Yeah,
it was a normal thing that he said, and I thought it was good, which was broken clocks. But he said, quantity can be a form of quality for some audiences, where it's like, oh, I get this every day, so it's like I don't have a favorite episode. I don't have a favorite thing about it. I'm just like, it's comforting to have it every day. And
I unfortunately love, because that's why I love Love Island. It's the quantity, not at all the quality.
Right. Like, and I think that like it's true. Like there's a level of this came out every day and I wanted to watch it and I'm caught up with the story and it's
Reliable.
fine. Yeah. Like it's why soap operas work. People are not watching them once a week.
Yes.
They're like, what happens next? What happens
Or
next?
for their critical take. Yeah.
Yes. And so I think that like that is a kind of artist, like a person who is thinking in that sort of like just propulsive manner. And then there are the people
Yeah.
who are like, I want to make the piece and then be done with it. Like I want it to be this. I want there to be like a story and it requires me to like go out and venture out and see things more clearly from a distance. And I think that like my favorite work requires some of that.
I think it makes me so furious that the person who introduced this conversation was Kanye when not your ex and Kanye.
Yeah, I'm like, my ex-boyfriend Kanye was. He's such a disaster, but
literally,
like
you're
we
like,
said,
but he had some
broken
good quotes. Yeah.
Goodness.
No, but he introduced the conversation in music with albums when Tidal came out, when he started live editing The Life of Pablo.
Yes.
And I thought it was the most magnificent thing anyone had done in a really long time.
Yeah.
Because it was the idea that it's still his art and he still got to edit and people were furious.
Yeah, like they were like,
And
the album needs to be done. And it's like, what if it's never done?
What if it's never? And that from a consumer point, I understand buying something and wanting it to stay the same. That's
Yeah.
great. And then you should talk about streamers versus CD for whatever.
Right.
But from an art, like that's why I say I'm mad that you brought the conversation. Because it's like, it's such a valuable one. I do think with all of his stuff, it gets dismissed. But I think you seem like the blend of the ideas of like, I would love to make a piece, but wouldn't it be so fun to meditate and grow older and then bring that part of me to it and tinker with it and mix with it? There's just not a lot of space for that.
And and I think also like thinking about my career lower C, not like uppercase C, because like I don't, not the money part, but like thinking about just like the things I've gotten to do and what I would like to do in the future. I think I also think of it that way, where it's like if it's more holistic and I'm zooming out, like the moments where things weren't exactly what I was good at, or they weren't hits, or they weren't a thing that people ever bring up again, like those aren't like, they're not the grand scheme. It's like a moment in time in something grander. And I think that like, I'm better at looking like I can see the forest. Some people are a bunch of trees. I'm like forest.
I love this. Okay, well, because also I'm neurodivergent, and so it's the idea of like the mind's focus on details before big picture.
Yeah.
And so to word it like that is heaven.
Yes.
But it's also kind of perfectly streaming us into our final segment, which we're gabbing away. I can't believe.
I know.
But the final segment I have is called "Thank You for Holding My Poems," and it's inspired by the Russian poet Anna Akhmatova, who during the Great Terror, it was illegal to publish poems and writing of resistance. And so her and her collaborators and other writers memorized edits of each other's works. And that's how they held them until it was legal to publish, some of which were 30 years on. And I know.
Wow.
And so when I think of that, to me, it's like so vulnerable to be held unfinished, raw, like not quite where you want it to be. But to me, a poem in our artistic community feels less so like the actual work and feels like an unseen moment, right? Of the, like you're talking, like the forest, these little hinge moments that might not be directly related to your work, but take a huge impact and change your trajectory of your mind through your life. So it could be a barista on a day you're feeling low, complimenting you and making you feel like you have human connection again. Or it could be, I made this entire series and it's changed my whole idea of myself. And it could be your art, but I would love for you to bring to us, because it sounds like you're talking about that, like those moments are important to you and these hinging sort of experiences. And if there's one that comes to mind, we'd love to hear your poem.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Mine is actually a literal poem.
I love that. I love when people do that. Yeah.
And I'll just tee it up. So when I was 26, in the middle of this sort of online comedy, whatever career, I was also like writing more for like, I had gotten the Sundance Lab. So I was like working on an episodic project, all of these things. It felt like I was 25. So it was like everything was up in that moment.
Yeah.
And I got sidelined by like severe illness. I had like a giant benign tumor on my liver. It came out of nowhere. And it was like suddenly I'm like bedridden. I can't really go outside. I'm like all of my socializing is in hospitals. I'm losing my mind. And like everything has to be on this delay. And I think that like, especially when you're that young, there's a feeling that if it's not like if I don't capitalize on it now, it's over. Like I'm over. I
have
lost
chills
it.
as you're talking.
Yeah. And it was like, it was so dark. I mean, like truly, I don't think enough could ever be written about like what sudden illness or like sudden disability or whatever that was like does to a person. Because I do think that like, you know, eventually if we're lucky enough to get old, that's kind of how it happens. Like one day something is different. Your back hurts, you get injured, you get in an accident. But like, it's like sort of, I always saw it as sort of like a wall I didn't know could exist just showed up one day.
Yeah.
And I was on one side of it and the world was moving on without me. And so I was like very, very low, but I had a P.O. box and somebody sent me this poem that has been on my fridge in every apartment I've lived in since. And it's a Zora Neale Hurston poem. And it says, I've been in sorrow's kitchen and licked out all the pots. Then I've stood on the peaky mountain wrapped in rainbows with a harp and a sword in my hands. And I think that like in that moment of being like, I am in sorrow's kitchen. I am in here just eating down. Like I am
licking the pots, baby. Yeah.
And then it's like, but also like I've had it before and I'll have it again. I will be on a mountain with like a sword. Like I will be the hero. And I think that like knowing that there are seasons for everything and like seasons of podcasts, but like seasons for everything of like I'm winning and I'm feeling artistic and I'm feeling inspired, and seasons for being like, there is nothing here. And I think that like, especially in the kind of dark era we're living in this country where it's like the future of art and what we're able to express without being sort of persecuted is actually at stake. I think that giving yourself space to not be on or ready or posting all the time or like presenting something is such a gift. And so like that, it was like the poem that came at the right time. And it's like the poem that I think like will dictate my life.
It's also a poem like of like, oh, you get chills of like the butterfly effect of like one person who was a fan of you, like saw your P.O. box and was like, it made the choice, right? Some people say, is this too much? Is this too whatever? I said, oh, I want to give that to her. And oh my God, look at the impact.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, it was so nice. They typed it on like a library card and they signed it.
That.
And it was just like, the small, like it was, I think there was a larger card, but like this was the thing that I was like, this is like for me forever.
Well,
and I want to see it every
like,
day.
I love that because also I always, you know, grief and sorrow are so convincing. Like when you're in that kitchen, the kitchen is constantly screaming, there's nothing else outside. Don't like, and so to know that not only will you be with harps again, but protect it when you're there. Like the sword is also that protective space of the next time you do go into the kitchen, which you will.
Yes.
Like you can cut out the noise with that sword. You can cut your way out. Like that is a beautiful poem.
Thanks. I didn't write it, but no, objectively, like I had been a fan of Zora Neale Hurston's like prose, but so it was sort of like, I think on so many levels, just like deeply impactful. And I see it every single day when I'm literally in a kitchen. And so it's nice.
I love it.
Yeah, like if I'm eating them pots.
Unfortunately, my brain would work be like, if I intentionally literally eat this soup as if it is sorrow, I won't ever have sorrow again because I'm my brain thing.
You're like, I ate the metaphor, so it's done.
I did. I'm fine. Again, good. It's good.
Yes, it's good and we like it.
Oh, I love it. Akilah, this has been so lovely. I feel like it flew.
I know. I want to be your friend for life.
I do too. I think we will. I can't wait till I go to New York next.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just missed you too.
Yeah.
Oh. But so it goes. But yeah, can you let my listeners know where to find you?
Absolutely. So I am very online. You can find me on Instagram at Akilah H. I'm still, unfortunately, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, but you don't really got to follow me there. The most important thing is my current podcast with Courier Newsroom. It comes out weekly wherever you get podcasts. It's called How Is This Better? I love it. There's a video component. So if you're more of a video girly, like YouTube exists, but if you're more like, I would like to just hear your voice, the sultry dulcet tones. It's wherever you want to listen to it every Friday. And I'm so proud of it. And there's a lot of episodes to listen to. Like, it's sort of one of those things you can go back. They're not just topical. Some of them are more topical than others. But season 1 came out over the summer. We're in the middle of season 2 and you can get caught up. It's not even hard.
And they're very also digestible. Like it's like
20-minute episodes.
Yeah. 100%. So listen to that. Also listen to Rebel Spirit.
Yes, Rebel Spirit's coming back. Season 2, if you haven't listened to season 1, it's everywhere. We won a Signal Award. We're psyched. So yeah, things are going well.
I love that. Well, I end the pod by giving my listeners and you a compliment. And it's the same compliment, but I know that I don't think of adjectives as gendered, and I mean it different for everyone I see. And I say, oh my God, you're so pretty.
Thanks.
You are.
Thank you.
This was so beautiful. This really was.
Thank you. This was fun.
Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasick is hosted by me, Mo Fry Pasick. You can learn more about this week's guest and the Worse Than You team by checking out the show and episode copy. Worse Than You with Mo Fry Pasick is executive produced by Erica Ghetto, Mariah Gossett, and Lauren Mandel for Good Get and Disco Nap Productions. Oh my God, you're so pretty. Maybe I'm just alone in a cave and Plato was right.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Maybe there are shadows on the wall and it is people.
Now that's a good
get, baby. That's a good get.